Hare Krishna. So welcome to the study of Nectar of Devotion or Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu. And first we will start with Mangalacharan. I will share my screen and we will start. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Tasmai
Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manoਭीष्टं
Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Yutah Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We will now start with New Year hasn't started. Insurance starts on January 1st. So you have another 2.5 months to pass. Okay. All right. So we will continue with our study of Śrī Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu by none other than Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, with a detailed study, not a summary study, detailed study by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, called Nectar of Devotion. So, okay. We will sing the first 2 verses of Shri Shri Shad Goswami Ashtakam, to whom the 6 Goswamis to whom Srila Prabhupada has dedicated his summary study or detailed study called Nectar of Devotion. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamritambo Nidhi.
Krishna Kirtan Gana Nartana Paro Premamritambo Nidhi.
Dhira Dhira Jana Priyau Priyakaro Nirmatsarau Pujito.
Dhira Dhira Jana Priyakaro Nirmatsarau Pujito.
Shri Chaitanya Kripa Bharau Bhuvi Bhuvo Bharavahantarako.
Shri Chaitanya Kripa Bharau Bhuvi Bhuvo Bharavahantarako.
Vande Rupa Sanatanau Raghuyugau Shri Jiva Gopalako.
Vande Sanatana
Sanatana
Prabhu
Prabhu
Shri Jiva
Shri
Gopal
Gopal
Nana Shastra Vicharanai Kanipunau Saddharma Sansthapakou
Nana Shastra Vicharane Kanipunam Sadharma Sanstapako
Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakaro
Lokanam Hitkaryo Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakaro
Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Mattaliko
Radha Krishna Padara Vinda Bhajana Nandena Mattaliko
Rupa Sanatana Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalako
Vande Rupa Sanatana Prabhu Yugo Shri Jiva Gopalako.
Now we will recite the 4 memorization verses. With translations, you have to memorize for all those who will be giving the test. But we will only sing the Sanskrit verses in the classes. So please repeat after me. You can unmute on the Zoom and repeat also. Anyabhilashita shunyam
Anyabhilashita shunyam
Jnana karmadhyanavritam
Jnana karmadhyanavritam
Ena Krishnanu
Kelena
Krishnanu
Nam Bhaktiruttama.
Idanam Bhaktama.
Now, for the test, people of the giving the test, and in general for everyone, it is also important to remember the verse number. So 1 mark will in the test will be to quote the right verse number. Okay, so 1.1.11, you have to write that. And why it is important is because you also need to know where in the Shastra it occurs. So that tomorrow, if you are giving a class to someone, or maybe you are sitting with a friend and like quoting something, and you have Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu in front of you, or Nectar of Devotion, you need to be able to open up the right place in that to say, see, here it is written. That is one purpose. There are many purposes of knowing where to find the verse, not just quoting is there. Obviously, that's why out of 10 marks, 1 mark is only there for the number. Remaining 9 marks will be for the verse. But 1 mark, I'm just saying, some emphasis needs to be put on where the verse is in the Shastra. Then, of course, the importance of knowing the verse itself is also very important. So this is the very next verse. Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam
Sarvopadhi
Nirmalam
nirmalam
Tatparatvena nirmalam
Rishikesha
Rishikesha
Devanam Bhaktiruchyate.
Devanam
Bhakti
Atah Shri Krishna Namadi
Atah Shri Krishna Namadi
Vedrahyamindriyaihi
Na Bhaved Grahya Indriye
Devonmukhe hi jivhadau
Sevonmukhe Jivado
Swayam eva sfuratyadaha
Swayam
Anasaktasya vishayan
Anasakta Vishaya
upayunjataha
Yatharham Yunjataha
Krishna sambandhe
Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe
tam vairagyamuchyate.
Yukta Vairagya.
Okay, very nice. So now we will go to our content for today, which is Okay. Sudurlabha. So please recite this verse also. It's a very important verse. It's good if you can memorize it. Not required for test, but still very important verse. Kleshagni shubhada moksha
Kleshagni
moksha
tit sudurlabha
Lahuta krit
lahuta
sudurlabha
sudurlabha
ananda visheshatma
Sandrananda Visheshatma
visheshatma
Shri Krishna karshini cha sa.
Shri Krishna Karshini
Krishna
Chasa.
Okay.
Just so.
Thank you. Now you can mute yourself. So, we are studying the 6 characteristics of bhakti in sequence of how they lead to a certain stage of bhakti. Okay. So, kleshagni. So, when you start bhakti or sadhan bhakti, today we will go in a little bit detail into what is the meaning of sadhan bhakti. So, immediately 2 things happen, kleshagni and shubhada, or kleshagna and shubha happens, because bhakti is shubha da, it gives shubha and it does kleshagna, it removes all klesha. The moment you start the process of bhakti, this happens. Then when the process or the process of sadhan bhakti matures, then we realize, then one goes into the, or begins to go into the stage of Bhava Bhakti. And at that stage, one realizes 2 more characteristics of Bhakti, which is Moksha Laghutakrit. One begins to see the smallness or the insignificance of moksha, because one develops a lot of asakti. And that is another topic we will discuss in detail today, asakti, or deep attachment for Krishna prema. And then one gets to the stage of Bhava Bhakti, but it takes time, or it appears that it is very difficult. That is the word that Srila Rupa Goswami has used, Sudurlabha. And then one develops the stage of Prema Bhakti. Prema Bhakti is nothing but Bhava Bhakti, but more intense. So much more, Srila Prabhupada uses the word condensed stage of Bhava Bhakti. So it's like when you boil milk, it's already boiling, and you keep boiling it, it becomes more and more condensed, thick. So it's the thickened stage of Bhava Bhakti, and there's a very beautiful, we'll come to this later, but a very beautiful distinction between Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. I'll save it for later. And then one begins to see 2 more characteristics of Bhakti, which is pure bliss, Sandrananda Visheshatma. And another characteristic of Bhakti at that level is Shri Krishna Akarshini, that Krishna gets attracted. All the while we are trying to attract ourselves to Krishna, because our mind is attracted to so many other things other than Krishna. So we are trying to develop attraction towards Krishna, which is very hard, which is also a topic for today. And then at that stage, Krishna develops attraction for us. So that is what ends up happening. So, second. All these topics we will discuss today. My goal is to, so Sudurlabha topic is very difficult to understand, and I would say it is also difficult to explain. And that is where today I will struggle probably a little bit. So please excuse me. And these are very, very deep and deep topics. Of course, I have zero realization. This is at the stage of very mature sadhan bhakti, when one begins to scratch the boundary of Bhava Bhakti. I am like 20 orders of magnitude below that level. So I'm just going to explain theoretically what I have understood. So it is very hard to understand, very hard to explain, and of course, Sudurlabha, very hard to experience. That's the real meaning of Sudurlabha. It's not easily obtained or it's not easily experienced. So with that disclaimer, we will proceed. So before let's do a quick sort of an overview of what is the meaning of Sudurlabha. If we can just go through the Sudurlabha topic today, actually we will just limit it to that today. It might take up the whole time, and even if it doesn't, maybe there'll be question answers and so on. But this topic of Sudurlabha is very important. I spent like a whole, digged up my notes from long back and many other things, was focusing on this sort of topic for last 2 weeks. Hare Krishna. So it's very important to have a good discussion on this topic of Sudurlabha. So Sudurlabha, Durlabh means difficult, and Sudurlabha means very difficult. So Bhakti is Sudurlabha. It's a female gender. We talked about that last time or one of the times, that Bhakti is female. So Sudurlabha, not Sudurlabh, but Sudurlabha. She is Sudurlabha. So what is the meaning of this? The meaning is that Bhava Bhakti, now this, I will explain this in the next couple of slides, is very, very difficult to obtain or very rarely obtained. And we will see that it is difficult or rare to obtain in two ways, or via two methods. I've been moving the mouse. One is if it is undertaken in great quantity, but no quality, as in no attachment to Krishna, no asakti to Krishna. Or even if undertaken with attachment or asakti to Krishna, it is difficult to obtain or it takes time. In other words, it is durlabh. It is not immediately attained. Immediately there's a focus, because the opposite of immediate is after a long time. So it is obtained after a long time, which means, and in the latter case, it is because the Lord takes his sweet time. It is per his sweet will. Like if somebody knocks on your door, they can knock on your door, but when will the door open? Just by their knocking, will the door open? How will it open?
When you agree
to the owner of the house, isn't it? When the owner of the house opens the door, isn't it? Sometimes, it's late in the night and you don't know who is knocking, and we don't open the door. Let them knock. And if the knocking gets very loud, then you call 911 that somebody is, whatever, it's all up to and it's not like a material world where they can bulldoze into your door. You cannot bulldoze into Vaikuntha or into Goloka Vrindavan. That door is very strong. Okay. So last week I had left it there, and I had asked some devotees to sort of think about something, some food for thought. That the question becomes that why does Krishna take his own sweet time? Now, the way it appears is that he takes a long time. Okay. And that is a key point to understand. So there will be several key things to understand today. So I request your kind attention to today's class. And if you understand today's class, it will be very, very beneficial for you. I was very pleased in preparing for the class. I had a lot of bliss and happiness. I was very happy to, make my notes and all those things. So I hope I can, convey that to your side as well. So please listen carefully. So the point is that where it begins to give a doubt in our mind is because the moment we knock on the door, our expectation is that somebody or the one inside will open immediately. And that is basically coming from our Ahamkar. I have shown up at the door, as if the president has shown up at the door, like drum rolls. And the door should have already been opened. And if it is not opened already, it should immediately be opened. The moment I knock, I shouldn't need to knock a second time. Like with my children, when I call them, if they don't pick up in 2 rings, the third ring, if they pick up, the first question is, hey, why did you take so much time to pick up the phone? I'm your dad, tera baap hu main. Kind of that feeling. I'm just conveying. That's the part of it, is like, the Ahamkar, that the moment we knock, it should open. On the other hand, Krishna has been trying to open the door of our heart. How long have we been making him wait? So that is, it's not that he has a lot of Ahamkar. He is devoid of Ahamkar, but we have to think that he is also knocking on our door. And how long are we making him wait? That gives us, at least in my case, where I have been making him wait even in this life for a very long time, who knows how many lives before, it gives us a sense of humility that, okay, it's okay if he is not opening it immediately. That is point number 1. Point number 2 is that because it is put in this particular way, that he will open the door according to his own sweet will, we think as if by default it will take a long time. That is the immediate reaction. We want guarantees. The only other way to phrase this sentence would have been that he will immediately open. He's not saying it will take a long time. He's saying it will be as per, not Rupa Goswami in this specific verse. In this specific verse, definitely he is using the word Sudurlabha. But in the commentaries and other explanations and other verses, it is just said it happens according to Lord Krishna's sweet will. We translate that into a very long time, because it should have been immediate, or it should have been guaranteed to be immediate. As long as that guarantee is not available, I don't like it. And I make it mean as if Krishna is going to unnecessarily take a long time and in an unfair way. We feel that Krishna is unfair. These are the doubts that come in one's mind. Now, it is also true that at many places we have heard, especially, for example, in Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter, 8th chapter, 14th verse, the word sulabh is used. That, I hope I'm quoting it the right verse. Yes. And in 12th chapter also, I'm forgetting what is that? Anyway. Mrityu sansara. Na chirat, and yeah, maybe you can look up 12.6 and 7. Okay. So we have also heard that bhakti is sulabh, which means it is easily attained. So on the one hand, it is durlabha, sudurlabha, and on the other hand, we say, or it is said, it is sulabh. So the doubt arises, is it durlabh or is it sulabh, or somewhere in between? And to me, certainly, and to many people, it may give an impression that when we say bhakti is sudurlabha, then it creates some kind of a disappointment that, okay, is it worth trying? So how to resolve all these doubts? And that will be the main content of the class today. Okay. So before we go into the detailed discussion, I want to clarify a few definitions, a few key concepts before we start. Okay, like in a mathematical proof, first we go through what are called as lemmas. We state some basic concepts, and then we will stitch all those concepts together for a larger concept to emerge. Did you find? What is that? Tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara vartmani. Yes. All right. Okay. So first we have to understand the concept of sadhak, sadhan, and sadhya. So we use this word sadhan bhakti. Many devotees say sadhana bhakti. Sadhana. Have you done your sadhana today, Prabhuji? So we ask that way. Sadhana, both are correct. Sadhana means our practice of devotional service, our practice of bhakti, our hearing, chanting, whatever, japa, etc., reading Bhagavatam, and so on. So that is sadhana. But there is no here. But here the word is sadhan. So let us understand what is the meaning of sadhan. So first let us see sadhak. So in this picture, who is the sadhak, or where is the sadhak?
The man who is making.
The man who is, so it is a picture of a potter making pots. So the sadhak is the person. So in bhakti, who is the sadhak? We are the
Devotee.
sadhakas.
Devotee. Yeah.
The devotee, or the aspiring devotee, we can say. One who is aspiring to be a bhakta. And what is sadhya? In this picture, what is sadhya? Sadhya means the ultimate,
The pot.
Objective.
End product.
end product. Very
Pot.
nice.
Pot.
Yeah. So what is the sadhya here? The pots which have been completed, which are not on that wheel, the ones which are sitting on the side, which have been completed and made. And you can see some nice design or whatever. They are nice, beautiful pots. Then comes what is the sadhan. So what is the meaning of sadhan? What is the English, some like Sanskrit to English, you can...
Instrument.
Method.
Very nice.
Instrument.
Process, instrument, method. All those are right words. Okay, so those are the three right words. So process or method and instrument. So can you see the sadhak is basically using two things. He's using a nice wheel. Plus, he is very skilled. You know, if I do it for the first time, do you think such nice pots will come? Or you can think of, I have never tried, but I have tried making roti. It comes like maps of different countries. But, you know, when other experts cook, then it comes like a beautiful circle. So that is the sadhan, the method or the expertise in the process. That is one thing. And plus you need the right tools or instruments. And you can see here that there is the wheel and whatever, clay and whatever, these are the sadhan. So sadhaka uses the sadhan to obtain the sadhya. Are you following? So that is the, and so what is the sadhya in our process of bhakti?
Krishna.
Not Krishna. See, that's
Bhakti.
Krishna Prem. Okay, we cannot say
Going
by
close.
going
closer to Krishna.
Going closer to Krishna, but ultimately it is Krishna Prem. The gopis, after Krishna left Vrindavan, they were no longer close to Krishna in that sense. They were far away from Krishna. But can we say that, you know, they stopped being bhakta? No, because they always had Krishna Prem with them. So Krishna Prema is the sadhya. All right. So, and then what remains is the sadhan. So what is sadhan?
Shastra.
Yeah, somebody said
Shastra.
in here chanting. Prabhuji is saying Shastra. Anything else? Services,
Bhakti.
seva.
Yeah.
Yeah. Following
Thinking of him.
not the, yeah.
thinking of him throughout.
Following Guru's instructions, or yes, Guru's instructions, which are no different from Shastra. So Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Yes, all those things. Very nice. So let us see what is Sadhan. So Sadhan is the means or the instrument or the process or method. All these things you said. So our Lord Krishna, Prahlad Maharaj, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, all the acharyas, the Lord himself, the various advanced devotees have given various definitions or meanings or lists of instruments. So we have two fundamental instruments or methods also. You can say instrument plus method, how to use the instrument, is Shravana and Kirtana. Okay. So what is you can say the instrument is physically you have Bhagavatam, Bhagavat Shravana, and the method is to read Bhagavat or to speak Bhagavatam. Kirtana, so there is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that is the instrument, and we sing it or we hear it, that is Kirtana. Kindly mute yourself if you're having any background noise or anything. So those are the two fundamental sadhanas. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita has given us 5 prominent sadhanas, which expand. It's just an expansion, of which Shravana and Kirtana are there. So it's all like then another one is Sajatiya Bhakta Sangha. The third one, Sajatiya, means like-minded. Okay. So what does that mean? Like-minded means if I am interested in reading Bhagavatam, whereas somebody else, let us say, is interested in a lot of seva and serving devotees, cooking prasadam, that may not be like-minded. If I say, Prabhuji, come on, let us read Bhagavatam, he might get bored. He'll say, I want to go serve devotees. I may not be inclined in that way. So then find like-minded and asakti yukta. I skipped that term here. Asakti yukta sajatiya bhakta sangha. In short, it is devotee association. But there are some clauses attached. What kind of devotees to associate with? Of course, any kind of devotee association is better than materialistic association, no doubt. But within that also, to make quick progress in our bhakti, it is much, much better if it is sajatiya and asakti yukta. And asakti yukta means one who is filled with, who is endowed with asakti for Krishna. We will unpack that a lot more. Then the next two are Vrajavasa and Shri Krishna Murti Sevana, worshipping the deity, or staying in a place, a holy place like Vraja. And then there are the 9 processes. 5 can be expanded to 9, which you have all heard: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, and Atmanivedanam. So these are the various, and then there are 64 limbs of Krishna Bhakti, which are given by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu, which will form a majority of our Nectar of Devotion discussion in the coming classes. But for now, for today's discussion, we will stick, just to make it simple, we will stick with Shravanam and Kirtanam. Okay? As whenever we say sadhana, we will say Shravan, Bhagavat Shravana, or Nama Shravana, and Nama Kirtana, Bhagavat Kirtana. Okay? We will just simplify it that way. So, clear what is sadhan? All right. Then we have also heard 9 stages of development. Okay, there should have been an of bhakti. Let me fix that. Oops. What happened? All right. 9 stages of development of bhakti. Hare Krishna. So we have seen, or we have heard this, 9 stages are Shraddha. And I'm just picking the key points. Otherwise, the whole class will become about these, just topics that we have already heard. Shraddha in scriptures. Okay, so first one has to have faith in the scriptures that yes, I want to follow or the instructions given in the scriptures. The instructions in the scriptures tell us about, again, I didn't make a slide about it, about sambandha, which means our relationship with Bhagawan, and abhideya, which means the process of trying to connect with Bhagawan. So that is sadhanas. Abhideya is sadhan. The process of, or the tools and instruments and the process for performing bhakti is sadhan. So in this 9 stages, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, so scriptures talk about the fact that one must get association of devotees, of course, with those attributes, Sajatiya and Asakti Yukta, and perform the activities of Bhajana Kriya, etc., and try to minimize our offenses, that is Anartha Nivritti, and Nishtha. So Nishtha is very important here for today's discussion. Nishtha means what? Nishtha means determination. Determination, we can say determination for what? Determination to do what? So the very clear answer, again, I could have posed it as a question, but it's right there on the slides. Nishtha in the process. All right? That if I follow the process which is given in the scriptures, then I will make progress. My bhakti will progress. My bhakti will develop. That is what it is saying, the development of bhakti, the stages of development of bhakti. So having nishtha in the process. Okay? So please understand, so far, when we have talked about the first 5 stages, it is nishtha in the process as described in the scriptures. Yes. So it is nishtha in the process given in the scriptures. Agreed? Are you understanding so far? What is missing here is still that attachment for Krishna. That comes later. When one has the nishtha, determination to follow the process properly, please pay very careful attention. I'm kind of almost summarizing the whole discussion of today. When we follow the process with determination, then the attachment to Krishna develops. That is the stage of, in gradual way, we can say ruchi, but asakti. That is the stage we are trying to discuss today. The attachment, asakti to what? Not asakti anymore to the process, attached to the process. No, it's no longer attachment to the process. That had been there at the nishtha stage. I'm very determined to follow the process. You can say that was attachment to the process. Asakti, nishtha, we can say is asakti to process. But the meaning of asakti in number 7 is no longer attachment to the process, but it is attachment to Lord Krishna himself. So that attachment to Krishna has to develop, or it develops by the time one reaches stage number 7. All right. So that is a key difference that I want to point out. Till the stage of nishtha, maybe there is no love for Krishna. Or I don't want to say no love, but it is not very strong. It is slowly growing. By the time we reach the stage of asakti, that love for Krishna itself, or himself, for Krishna himself, becomes very strong. And then one goes into the Bhava Bhakti or the Bhava stage. All right? And then prema is the ultimate sadhya, which we discussed, the end goal. And that is prema for Sri Krishna, or Krishna prema is the final stage. So far, so good? Anybody feeling lost? No? All right. Now let us look at this verse, which talks about Sudurlabha. Sadhanoghair asan anasagnair alabhya suchiradapi harina chashvadeyeti dvidha sa syat sudurlabha. So there are three important points being pointed out. This is a verse directly composed by Srila Rupa Goswami. So as I had mentioned before, Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu, the way it is organized, Srila Rupa Goswami makes certain points. As everything is verses, but he makes certain points and then he uses proof, pramana from various shastras, primarily Srimad Bhagavatam, or many other places we have seen, for example, Padma Purana or Narada Pancharatra or other shastras to substantiate his concept. So this is a concept verse. And what it means is that if you see the first word is sadhana. So sadhan bhakti. So, and then even though Bhava Bhakti is not mentioned here, Jiva Goswami, who is the primary commentator on the Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu, mentions the meaning of this verse is that attaining Bhava Bhakti, the stage of Bhava Bhakti, from the stage of sadhana bhakti is difficult. So durlabha or sudurlabha is to go to the Bhava Bhakti stage from sadhana bhakti. Sulabh, we said bhakti is sulabh, which means to start the stage of sadhana bhakti and to obtain the first two characteristics. What are the first two characteristics? Klekshagni and Shubhada. Very nice. Those two are very easy to obtain. Many devotees can attest to it, that once they seriously, with some seriousness, not as a pretense, but with some seriousness, they take up the process of bhakti, Kleshagni and Shubhada begin to manifest in their lives. Okay, so that part is the sulabh part. And then, but to go to the Bhava Bhakti stage, to reach the Bhava Bhakti stage is Sudurlabha. So we are going to unpack that now with all the discussion that we have done so far. Okay? Now, Rupa Goswami says that Dvidha sa syat Sudurlabha. Dvidha means in two ways. What are the two ways? If undertaken in great quantity, but without any attachment to Sri Krishna. With no attachment to Krishna. That is easy to understand. Okay, if there is no attachment to Krishna, without attaining the asakti for Krishna, now if you see, this chart makes sense. Without going to the stage of asakti, it is not possible to go to the stage of bhava. Makes sense? So asakti. But even if one is performing sadhan bhakti with some asakti, still it takes time. It takes long time. It is not immediate, but it takes long time. So that part is little hard to understand. So let us unpack this whole thing a little more. So now I want to switch to sort of a different mode. Was I sharing my screen so far?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I will share from here. So it is a little hard to put this in the slides. I tried many combinations of putting it in slides, but then I thought that a blackboard or a whiteboard is the best way to explain this. So first question, or the first point to understand, is that Krishna is svayam Bhagawan, which means he is God. Okay? What does that mean in this context? The context is this, that attaining Bhava Bhakti from Sadhan Bhakti is difficult. That is the context. So in this context, when we say Krishna is God, he's Swayam Bhagavan, the meaning, would you agree, is that Krishna is God means that Krishna, he can do anything? Correct? Otherwise, we wouldn't call him God, right? God means he needs to have godly powers. Godly powers means there is no limit to his powers. And if there is no limit to his powers, then to give Bhava Bhakti, or we can just say Bhakti, to a sadhaka is within Krishna's power.
Mhm.
Do you agree?
Yes.
And to give Bhava Bhakti immediately, in an
Also.
instant, is that possible for Krishna?
Yes.
Yes. You wouldn't say no, otherwise he would his godliness would be diminished. So yes, if he wants, without anything at all, he can give the ultimate destination. Any example? The Dhruva
Jamil.
Maharaj. Yes, very nice. The example I was thinking was Putana. A very opposite example of bhakti, or even the stage of doing sadhana bhakti. She was like completely opposite. She was demoniac, inimical to Krishna. But Krishna gave her the position of mother in the spiritual world. So Krishna can do anything that he wants. So that is point number one. Second, so again, we are still discussing certain concepts. Let me ask you, in very common sense terms, I will ask you a common sense definition of what is Krishna Bhakti. Ultimate, the highest Krishna Bhakti. Now, don't say Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Jnanak. That is true. But I'm just asking in English. So I am serving Krishna, but I am not the ultimate, So some. What? Developing love for Krishna, but that is also in the beginning stage. I am asking what is the final stage of Krishna Bhakti?
Ultimate love
Ultimate.
to, love
Okay,
to
that's
Krishna.
a nice word.
Love
Ultimate.
Krishna.
Okay. Now we are understanding. Unconditional. What are some of the other words that you can use? Spontaneous. Okay. Or we can say, okay, spontaneous. What does that really mean? Ever flowing, always flowing.
Incessant.
Incessant. Very nice. One more word I'm looking for. Okay, unlimited also. One more.
Continuous.
Continuous is also incessant.
Yeah.
We have discussed in Bhagavad Gita classes quite a bit. One specific word which
Ananya. Ananya.
Ananya.
Unmotivated.
Anarambhi.
Ananya.
Anarambhi.
It's okay. Exclusive. Ananya.
Just, English, I am Anarambhi. Anarambhi.
I don't know that word, but okay. Exclusive. Ananya. Which means only, bhakti only to Krishna. So we can say unlimited, exclusive, unconditional, ultimate bhakti to Krishna. Are you following? So let us say that this is, and if you analyze it to Anya Bhilashita Shunyam, it will easily, you will get the same answer. So now I'm going through the process of the verses that are there in the, so Sudurlabha is covered over 3 verses, 1.1.35 to 37. So I'm going through the commentary of the verses and those 3 verses and their commentaries in a sequence, so but in a discussion format. So we said that, or Rupa Goswami said that here, if undertaken in great quantity but without attachment to Krishna, Bhakti is Sudurlabha. Let us try to apply this to liberation. Can liberation be obtained by a process?
Never.
Moksha. Yes or no? Yes. Most of the devotees are saying here, yes.
No, no.
And liberation can be
Yes.
obtained.
Yes.
Yes.
In the room, somebody was saying something.
Any stages of liberation?
Yes, there are. Well, no, we are just talking about liberation.
Yes.
And here we are talking about, for example, the lowest stage of liberation, which is impersonal liberation, sayujya mukti. Is it possible to obtain by a process? The answer is yes. What is the process in that case? For example, what is a process? An example process.
Ashtanga Yoga.
Ashtanga Yoga. Let's take the case of
Ashtanga Yoga.
Jnana or Ashtanga Yoga. So you said Ashtanga Yoga, fine. Let us take that process of Ashtanga Yoga. Or some yogis in the winter, they go and sit in a cold river. In summer, they sit in a ring of fire. And like this, they are trying to control their mind and sort of tolerate all the adverse situations that they are, all the austerities that they are putting on themselves. It's a process. All right. And the part to really understand here is that in this process, they may fail few times, but they will keep trying. They will keep trying once they are perfected in the process. So to perfect the process takes time. Do you agree? To perfect the process, just let's take, it's much easier to discuss the Jnana Yoga, where you just have to focus your mind. Is it easy to focus the mind? Not very easy. But with practice, can it be done? Yes. So to perfect the process takes time, but the moment you perfect the process, you attain liberation. After perfection of the process, liberation is immediate. All right? And that is what is mentioned in the next verse, that through the processes of Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and all the other processes, once it may take time to perfect the process, but after perfecting the process, liberation is very immediate. It's very easy. It's almost guaranteed. There is nobody who is there to award it. You get it. And you get it out of your own strength. And what is missing here? What is missing in this process? Or what is not, I wouldn't say what is missing, but what is not required? Attachment to Krishna. Or even Krishna himself is not required. You are not required to do Krishna Nama Japa. You can do the mantra jap that has been given to your guru in some impersonal mantra or whatever, and you can attain liberation. So attachment to Krishna is not a component. Love for Krishna is not a component in this process of liberation. And it can be perfected by a process. Are you following? Now comes the next question. Can bhava or prema be obtained by such a process?
Not possible.
Yes. That is not possible. There is no process for love. We can see a sort of a semblance or a sense of that in the material world also. Using a process, we in Intel spend billions and billions of dollars. It's still a process to convert sand into a very sophisticated microprocessor chip. All that is possible. You don't need any love. You don't have to stand near a fab machine and give it love. Right? You don't have to tell the machine, I love you so much. Isn't it? There is absolutely no love needed there. You just have to perfect the process. And boy, talk to the people in Intel how much perfection of the process is needed. They will spend their sweat and blood in perfecting the process day and night. But once the process is perfected, then the profits start rolling in. The company becomes rich. Are you following? So there is no role of love. But now talk about if you love a person, one-sided love, let us say, the other person doesn't love you. Is there any process that you can apply? Any process that you can apply to generate the love in the heart of the other person?
No. No.
Very
No,
nice point.
no,
So somebody
no.
said, serve the person. Fine, you are serving the person. Very nice point. Does it guarantee like Intel process, chip fabrication? I will keep working on it, keep working on it. One day, it is bound to produce the result. Is that guaranteed in this case? No.
No.
That is the point. You can do seva. You can express your feelings. You can do a lot of sacrifices. You can say, if you don't love me, to main kud jaunga. Whatever, you know. Kya? Viru tanki se kud jayega. What was the name of that? Basanti. Whatever, right?
Santi.
You cannot force love. Are you following? And on the flip side, how long does it take for the love in anybody's heart for some other person to generate? Is it a gradual process like it develops? Today it is 10%, 20%, 30%. How long does it take for love to arise for another person in one's heart?
Split
I
second.
think immediate.
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 Exactly.
Instantaneous.
Instantaneous. Okay. So please remember this discussion. What we are having is a very nice discussion. You need to remember some of these points that we just discussed. All right.
Prabhuji, can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead, Mataji.
Why we are saying that bhava or prema cannot be obtained by such a process? I'm confused because we say that there is a 9 stages or
I will explain that.
Okay.
Yes. So you're ahead of me.
Okay.
Right?
Sorry.
So actually, what I'm going to talk about next is exactly that. So here we see, can bhava or prema be obtained by such a process? The answer is it's a common sense answer. We just discussed it, and through a discussion we came up with this answer. Now I will show that how it is substantiated through our Acharya's descriptions, commentaries, and Shastra. So now we will. So let us apply this to Krishna Bhakti. So what we do in Krishna Bhakti, now please pay very careful attention. Okay. We will start now, just like Anjana Mataji asked. We start with the process of, we start with the means. We collect the process, the sadhana. We collect Srimad Bhagavatam. We collect the Mahamantra. We have devotees together, and we start the process of sadhan bhakti. Okay. In the beginning, there is no asakti. I'm now going to use technical terms because we have explained it. So I'm not going to just keep explaining all the time. There is still no asakti for Krishna in the heart. And how can you measure there is no asakti for Krishna in the heart? There are so many examples. So many examples. Imagine if you have to cook for Krishna. How many times we cook for Krishna but without even any desire in our heart that I will finally eat a part of it, if not the whole thing. Ultimately, I'm cooking for Krishna. Yes, that is fine, but who will finally get to eat this? Me. Suppose if it was truly the case that none of it, what you are cooking, will be available to you. None of it. Would you cook with the same perfection? Just ask yourself. Sometimes I have seen in my case also, when I am, let's say, sometimes I don't cook often, but sometimes if I cook, even that 10 minutes of offering the bhoga, it's like, oh, there's 10 minutes gap between the preparation being ready to eat. I could have eaten it till I actually eat it. That feeling is there. Why I have to wait? It just tells me that that attachment to Krishna does not exist. Attachment to Krishna means complete, ultimate. We just said, what is Krishna Bhakti? The highest Bhakti is everything for Krishna, absolutely everything for Krishna. You're willing to give up your life for Krishna. Like the gopis, they would cook for Krishna in the morning, and when he wouldn't come, thinking today he will come back. And when he didn't come, they would throw it all away. They wouldn't eat it. And next day again start. And no frustration the next day. Oh, he hasn't come for so many years. Again, next day he might come. Shabri would go and pluck the fruits every day for 60 years. She did that. Maybe today Lord Ram will come because her guru had told that one day the Lord will come. No frustration. That, oh, how long I have to wait? All right. So one can measure, or one cannot measure, but get a sense in their heart that how much asakti for Krishna I have. So I can say I do not have asakti for Krishna at all. So what is the solution? The solution is to start with the sadhan. And with nishtha, with determination, with shraddha and nishtha, the two endpoints of the first 5 steps. That yes, I have faith in the scriptures. The scriptures say, my friend, keep doing this. One day you will develop asakti for Krishna. So the point is, keep performing sadhan bhakti. Keep performing sadhan bhakti. Even when there is no asakti for Krishna. Okay? And keep doing it sincerely. The other point to remember is SSS. SSS stands for serious, sincere, and steady. Keep performing sincere, serious about the goal, sincere about the process, and steady. No gaps. Consistent, steady bhakti. Keep performing it. Yes, very nice. And the important part is that there has to be, so this is a very key point, please pay attention. Keep performing sadhan bhakti. There is no attachment. When there is no asakti or attachment for Krishna at this stage, correct? But what need to be there, and this is something that you can do yourself, with a desire to develop asakti for Krishna. This is the key point. If you want to make it in a bold color, you can do that. Keep doing the process, the sadhan bhakti, with a desire to develop asakti. Keep doing that. Today, I do not have asakti, but keep praying or keep desiring the asakti. Keep waiting for it. Keep meditating on it. That when will I develop, when that asakti will come? May I develop asakti? Go ask. Now here comes that phrase, asakti yukta. Bhakta sangha. Sajatiya asakti yukta. So when you have, if you find somebody who is asakti yukta, go ask them. How did you develop? When did asakti come in your, whatever questions, have the discussion with them. If they are advanced devotees, take their shelter. Request them to accept you in their shelter. Now they can be Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru. Accept them as one of the two. If you have a Diksha Guru, accept them as Shiksha Guru. Take Shiksha from them, formally or informally, however. So try to develop that asakti, or at least have a desire to develop asakti. This is the key point. That is something which can be done by us. Okay? And on the flip side, if one is performing just sadhan bhakti, if one is simply performing the sadhan bhakti, when there is no asakti for Krishna, okay, and even this desire is not there, one is performing sadhan bhakti every day, going in the morning to the temple, doing some seva, doing your, japa, but there is no attachment for Krishna, and there is no even any desire to develop the attachment for Krishna. Then what does it become? It becomes simply mechanical. Okay? And if that is the situation, which means that this key ingredient is missing, there is no desire even to develop asakti for Krishna, and one is simply doing sadhan bhakti, then it remains mechanical. And in that case, it is even more durlabha than the process of jnana or ashtanga. Please follow this. In that particular case, after 1,000 years or 1,000 lifetimes, you keep trying to perfect the process, it will yield result. In this case, no result will be obtained. That is why in the verse you will see that jnana or ashtanga is actually easier than bhakti. Wait a minute, in Bhagavad Gita we thought that jnana and ashtanga is so much hard and bhakti is so easy. But the way to understand that jnana or ashtanga is actually easier is when you can just try to perfect the process, but with no attachment to Krishna. Then it will never happen. In the jnana and ashtanga case, it will happen. It will yield result. So that is why that is relatively easier. Is that point clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So therefore, while doing the process of sadhan, I'm going very slowly through this. While doing the process of sadhan, it is extremely, extremely important to have that desire to develop attachment to Krishna himself. With that mood, with that attitude, when sadhan is done, then sadhan bhakti yields very quick results. So, and what it also means is that this desire to develop asakti for Krishna should be exclusive. It should not be mixed with a desire for anything else. Neither any material benefits or anything like moksha or liberation or anything like that. No side benefits one should have, just asakti for Krishna. Simply, it should be devoid of any other desire. Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhya navritam. with absolutely no other desire, anukulyena krishnanushilanam, which is continue to perform your sadhana bhakti with no other desires other than serving Krishna or other than developing love for Krishna, then it will yield very, very quick results. So then another important point happens. So this is the last point for today, is that when one performs this with this attitude or with this desire to develop asakti for Krishna, when one performs sadhan bhakti, then Krishna sends someone in our life. And that attachment arises at that time by the mercy of that person. That is known as bhakti sanjayate bhakti. From a bhakta, from a bhava bhakta, or from a prema bhakta level, or of a person with that level of a bhava or a prema bhakta, our asakti is aroused or is inspired. Now, if one already has a Diksha Guru, that person could, this Diksha Guru could realize that this person is, doing it in a very proper way. He could be the person, or somebody else could arrive in the life as a Shiksha Guru. And then one starts guiding, or once the sadhak begins to receive guidance from that person. So then one goes, sort of transitions in the sadhana bhakti stage into this. One gets the guidance of developing strong attachment. That attachment arises in just a split second. Remember when we discussed about that love? Through the mercy of that person, that love arises. In just a split second, there's no time definition of it, whether it takes a nanosecond, microsecond, picosecond, there is no time. It is just instantaneous. It just arises by the mercy of a pure devotee. And also we get guidance in whatever form. Maybe it can be just one line, or it could be like many, many months. All that is undefined. Then one gets the guidance of making progress, of thickening that bhakti, or the attachment to Krishna, and one advances into the bhava and into the prema stage. And there is no process for it. Process, you can have process manuals. Do we have process manuals in Intel? How thick are they? Very thick. No one person can even read it. It's like hundreds of thousands of pages. So you can have a process manual for a process. Is there any process for developing love? No. You cannot write a process manual. And it is instantaneous, and one guides. It can only be done through personal guidance. You cannot read about it, okay, check. Step 1 done, step 2 done, step 3 done. You cannot do that. So one gets guidance. One receives the inspiration, or we can say asakti of love for Krishna, through the mercy of a devotee. And then we also get the guidance, personal guidance. There are no steps. It's not documented anywhere. There cannot be a document. It's not that it's not documented because somebody wanted to keep it hidden. It's not a trade secret. It is something which cannot be documented. Just like we can see in our material life that there cannot be any book. There can be a book about how to serve somebody, how to make friends and influence people, the famous book by Dale Carnegie, and there are many other books. But you can follow those things. It doesn't guarantee that a specific person will become your friend, or how long it will take for that person to become your friend. That cannot be guaranteed. And that is because in this case, Krishna is that person and it's his sweet will. But when we receive proper guidance and when we keep doing sincere, serious and steady bhakti, Krishna is very kind, extremely kind. He doesn't wait. This is also true. He absolutely doesn't wait, and very quickly he awards Bhava Bhakti. Remember, he is Bhagawan. He can award it through that devotee. He sends that devotee in our life. This particular devotee that we talked about who arrives in our life, very quickly he sends such a devotee, and the Bhava Bhakti stage arises in one's life. Okay, so that is the whole discussion, okay, about how, if we go back to this verse, if it is undertaken in great quantity but without attachment or asakti to Krishna, it will never happen. You can keep doing even the sadhan bhakti process, Shravana Kirtana, with no desire to develop any love for Krishna. Then it will stay mechanical and it will never happen. That is the first point that is mentioned. The second point is that if it is practiced with attachment, or we can say here with a desire to develop attachment, that is the understanding. If it is done with a desire to develop understanding, Krishna does not give it immediately because he is the one who owns when to open the door. Now, last point for, I think I already said last point for today, but this is the last point, probably. The last, why does he take time? Why does Krishna take time? Now, this is the last verse of this, we say 35 to 37. This is the content of the 37th verse. Why does he take time? So, imagine that one is doing this stage or this deep Bhava Bhakti for Krishna. So we said some words. What are the words? We said unconditional and exclusive and unlimited.
Ananya, incessant.
Yeah, that is, incessant. All those things. If we do this level of bhakti, okay, and if Krishna is thinking, should I or should I not, inspire the Bhava Bhakti in his heart? So he has to make a choice, right? Should I or should I not? If he says, yes, let me do that, what is Krishna signing up for?
Giving himself to you.
Think about it. If Krishna accepts you in his house, if he wishes to open the door, what is the meaning there from Krishna's viewpoint? What is Krishna's reciprocation expected to be like?
Love. Love for him. Love for him.
Yeah.
Controlled by the devotee.
Yeah, so we need to say it more strongly. It's not just love for the devotee.
Bhakti.
It is said by our acharyas is that Krishna sells himself to the devotee. He gets purchased by the devotee. He comes under the control of the devotee. He willingly comes under the control of the devotee. That is what Krishna is signing up for. All right. So next time if somebody is knocking on your door and you know that the meaning of opening the door is that I am willingly accepting to become the servant of the person who is standing outside the door. That is the meaning of opening the door. Will you think twice before opening the door? As to who is the person on the other side, who you are opening it for. So that is what Krishna signs up for. And the example is given of the Pandavas. He completely came under the control of the Pandavas. He broke the rules of war. You can see in the battle, he, so to say, he did a lot of these things which were, if Krishna was not there, the Pandavas would not have won. He told Bhim that strike Duryodhan below his belt, so to say, because that is where his body is not made of Vajra. He told, who was that?
Arjuna to kill Karna.
That part can be explained. But this one, he told Indra to go to Karna and ask for the kavach. He knew. Who would know that he has this special kavach? Krishna knows. He told Arjuna to go ask for those 5 arrows, because Pandavas had saved Duryodhan one time, and Bhishma said, tomorrow I will definitely kill the Pandavas with these 5 arrows, and I know you don't trust me to keep these arrows, so I'm giving it to you. You keep them. Tomorrow, give me those arrows, and with these 5 arrows, all 5 Pandavas will be finished. That would have been the end of Mahabharat war. Krishna told, he knew, and this was a secret, obviously, between Bhishma and Duryodhan. Krishna knows. He told, go ask for those 5 arrows. All those things Krishna did. Even if you know about a secret, you're not supposed to reveal it if you want to keep it fair. Obviously, a lot of unfair things happened before the war. So Krishna helped. And then he drove the chariot for Arjuna. He did so many things. And the Bhagavatam is filled with stories of how the Lord is under the control of the devotee. So the Lord definitely thinks twice before selling himself. It's like, we say something, have you sold your soul to this person? Apni atma bechti hai kya? Ekdam bilkul, like you have become like completely under the control. So Krishna sells his soul, so to say, to the devotee. So he will think twice before doing that. But Krishna does that very quickly once. So the similarity with the other processes is the moment we truly develop asakti for Krishna, we have to start the process of sadhan, and we have to continue the process of sadhana bhakti with the desire to develop asakti. But when that asakti has fully matured in our heart, then there is no delay. Very immediately, Krishna awards Bhava Bhakti to a devotee. Okay? The Sudurlabha, the hard part, is for us to develop the asakti. And that happens through the process of sadhan bhakti mixed with the desire. Don't forget that key ingredient. So one should remove this X from here. And with a deep desire to develop asakti. And how do you develop that deep desire? You have to just, there is no documented way. The desire should be there, and whatever, it's like, truly in this case, the sentence, everything is fair in love and war, it applies in this case, the love part. You are trying to love Krishna. You are trying to develop the love for Krishna. And do anything and everything. And this is where our acharyas say, and our senior devotees say, cry for Krishna. Somehow you have to just, by hook or by crook or by whatever, sidhi ungli se nahi niklega ghee to tedhi karke. Whatever means, you have to just have that deep, deep desire to cry for Krishna and to almost make him, force him, or make him vivash karna. What's the English for that? To
Enslave him.
No, vivash. Vivash means to, to force him,
Compel.
to compel him to inspire that Bhava Bhakti. Because he is Bhagawan, he can inspire whenever he wants. And then he will inspire. All right. So that is the discussion for today. And let me see my notes here. What else is missing? Yeah, I think I have covered everything here. Okay. So now, Anjana Mataji, do you still have your question?
I mean, I kind of understood that, to reach Bhava Bhakti, there's no process because you have to try everything, whatever is possible, and make sure that you earn it from Krishna. But I kind of got confused between those 9 processes that we always discuss. And that last stage is actually...
No, wait.
Krishna.
There is a difference between 9 processes and 9 stages. Let me share the slides. So these are the 9 processes or 5 processes or 2 processes. These are the processes. Don't confuse this with 9 stages.
Oh, okay. I think I did that. Sorry.
Yeah,
I did.
asakti is not a process.
Yeah, okay.
Process finishes at step number 5. That's why I put it in a separate column.
Okay, yeah.
Process finish theirs. So nishtha in the process, you have to do it with strong faith, shraddha, with determination. You have to follow the process.
Okay, yeah, I mixed it. So it's basically
Okay,
9
now
processes.
clarified?
Yeah, it's clarified. Thank you.
Very nice. Anything else? Yes, Prabhuji.
Could you open that slide where we have like the final point in which you said that the final result. We have to try for Krishna, that slide.
Slide or that whatever handwriting.
Yeah, handwriting.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
So I was thinking even after that, like even if a person have the desire to develop attachment for Krishna, even then after that stage or like after that thing, mercy of a devotee must happen. Without mercy of devotee, he can't get, even if he has that strong desire, he can't earn Krishna Bhakti without the mercy of a pure devotee. Because in all the examples of...
Yeah, but also, I think you're bringing, let me add one more couple of points. One point here, basically, that this spans across lifetimes. So the span of this process is not limited to one life. So that one may see that a person is like in that mood of bhava from a childhood stage. That means that contact with a devotee had happened in a previous life. Okay, now ask your question.
So that means that contact with a devotee, or in other words, mercy of a pure devotee is must, even if though a person might have a desire to get asakti for Krishna.
Yes, that is correct. This is exactly what it is meant by. So now again, you may be going into that inherent versus inherited kind of discussion. Srila Prabhupada gives this very nice example. It is both. So he gives the example of a small child, baby. Okay, he has the capacity to walk. Does a human baby have a capacity to walk? Capacity, an inherent capacity to walk. Compare it to let us say, a dog. Who has an inherent capacity to walk? A small puppy or a small baby? Baby. Walk means walk on 2 legs. Let me put it there. Sorry. How much ever, but it still needs the, sorry, I should have clarified. The parent still has to hold the hand and to make the child walk. How much ever you try a small dog to make it walk on 2, that inherent capacity is not there. Okay. So it is there, that inherent capacity, but ultimately, Brahmande Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bija. That Bija has to come from from Krishna through a Guru. Guru Krishna Prasade Paye. So that Krishna Prasad in the form of that Bhakti Lata ka Bij, not Bhakti Lata, just the Bij. That is all that is needed. If you want to grow a plant, how much time does it take to obtain a Bij? Instant, right? You just get it from the shopkeeper. He just gives it in your hand. It takes an instant for him to give it in your hand. That is all that is needed. Okay, then you have to water it with Shravana, Kirtana. So that process of sadhan continues in the raga stage as well. But yes, at some point in this life, previous life, elsewhere, one has to get that. And this is why we say having a guru is, somebody was asking, why is guru important? That Guru Krishna Prasade Pai, that Krishna Prasad comes through the Guru. And who sends the Guru? Krishna sends the Guru. Krishna gift wraps the seed, gives it to the Guru, says, Guru, please take it to this nice person, become his Guru. He will accept you as his Guru. He will become a Shishya. You give this Prasad, my Prasad, to him. And Guru very faithfully takes that gift wrapped thing, no addition, no subtraction, as it is, gives it to thee. And then he gives the instruction to water it nicely, and the seed develops into Bhakti Lata and goes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that is mentioned. It pierces the boundary of the material world and goes into the spiritual world. So that process is what this means.
Continuation to that, two more points. For example, in examples with Prabhupada disciples, they might not even know about Krishna, but after now we see that most of the disciples, they are like completely attached to Krishna.
Past life. It definitely, it could be. I am nobody to comment on their position of devotion, but definitely there is past life. Okay, but go ahead.
Third point was, so this was the second point. So we can see that all of them mostly have the love for Krishna and Prabhupada. Third point was, Prabhupada said, just chant 16 rounds seriously and you will get all the things. So I was thinking...
No, I disagree. If you're going to that place that just mechanically continue to do your sadhana, is not what he said. There was, and I can pull up quotes, or next time I can bring up points. There is definitely with the desire. If you read deeply, it's not mechanically just continue, keep doing your 16 rounds and follow the 4 regulative principles and that's it. Mechanically, I'm sure I can pull out number of writings of Srila Prabhupada where he strongly says that this mechanical process is not going to work.
So further to that, some people would have asked Prabhupada, some people were more attached to Prabhupada compared to Krishna, I feel.
Yes.
They were asking Prabhupada, can we think of you at the time of death? And
absolutely.
said,
yes.
So I was thinking asakti
Bhakta Bhakta Janair Priyaha. That me and my devotees are more dear to me. Lord Narayan says, Canto 9, 4th chapter. So everything that is said here applies to devotees of devotee as well.
Thinking of it as asakti, to develop asakti
towards a pure devotee of Krishna can be completely replaced. It's a search and replace.
Yes.
Very good point. So it doesn't, yes. So therefore one can say, I'm attached to Srimati Radharani. Is that wrong? There was some big controversy about whether attachment to Krishna or Radha. Who is Srimati Radharani? She is the topmost devotee of Krishna, of course. Are those devotees of Lord Hanuman? We can call him Lord. He's definitely Lord Hanuman. Are they, does it only have to be Lord Ram? No. Okay. That is my understanding. Okay, there's one question here. We know Krishna takes a long time. No, I didn't say Krishna takes a long time. I'm trying to be very surgical here. Krishna may take a long time. The question starts with, we know Krishna takes a long time. I'm just disputing the grammar or he may take a long time. We have to put lots of intense effort at the door and then he opens a crack. No. That's not also what is said. That we may have to put in a lot of effort before he opens a crack or opens the door. There is the word may that need to be inserted in both the sentences. Okay. So how?
Or generally.
Generally, okay. We can say in may or in most cases, many cases. No, but it is not a given. Unlike, for example, in the Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, it is given that one has to put in a lot of effort before one gets liberation. All right. So how does one not get discouraged? So the question, the meaning, the basis of the question is that it takes a long time. So there is no question of discouragement. Okay, let me finish reading it. Since everyone is looking for and wishes to be together with their internal companion like Krishna, it seems pure materialists are better off since they get their goals relatively easily and are satisfied in that sense. In this life, they are satisfied. Very temporary satisfaction. Again, they have to start as a cat or a dog or whatever, cockroach. I wouldn't imagine it's very satisfying in that sense. So yes, temporary satisfaction may be there. And another point is that how to not get discouraged. Not get discouraged, two things. It is unto us to develop the desire or to perform sadhan bhakti with a desire to develop the love for Krishna. All that is being asked is to not be mechanical or not have any alternate desires. That onus is upon us. That onus is squarely upon us. And the second point, how one does not get discouraged, simply by performing sadhan bhakti. Even mechanically, one experiences kleshagni and shubhada. That itself is a great prize. Of course, there has to be some seriousness. At least there has to be, even without a desire for attachment to Krishna may not be there, but there has to be nishtha. So with nishtha, if you continue the process of sadhana bhakti, definitely the Shastra says you will experience kleshagni and shubhada. That itself is a wonderful prize. More than the materialists. The race with the materialists has been won right there. What are the materialists aspiring for? Kleshagni and shubhada, isn't it? What are they aspiring for? Ultimately, it is that itself is given in the beginning. So, between the race, between the bhakta or the aspiring bhakta and the materialist, the bhakta already wins. Now, he has not reached the finish line. The remaining discussion is about reaching the finish line. So, that is the answer to this question by Sai Prabhu. All right? Yes.
From my understanding also, can you keep it up that is about that?
The question you mean?
Because here it appears that this person is asking, there's some desire here to associate with Krishna. So my understanding would be also that we're not doing our sadhana bhakti, or we're not doing bhakti for our own pleasure.
Exactly.
For Krishna's pleasure.
Exactly. The desire to be with Krishna is itself a outcome that we are desiring, which is separate. I think that's what you're saying, that desire to be with Krishna is our desire, which is separate from the desire for love for Krishna. When you have love for a person, it doesn't matter Now, that is the kind of love which we have not seen in this world. Two very loving persons. Now, Romeo and Juliet may be a fairy tale, but, it happens, two persons who claim they love each other and then they live separately for a long time, ultimately out of sight, out of mind, or the love diminishes. Now, there may be some, one can claim, no, there's a lot of love in the heart. So that need to be together is a personal need. It is not the highest or the unconditional level of love. Is that?
Yeah, essentially. You can see the residents of Vrindavan when Krishna left. They didn't stop their seva. They didn't stop their longing for Krishna to come. Like you mentioned, they cooked, and then he didn't come, so they threw it and they cooked again. There's a very famous place in Govardhan, and that'd be like the north side, opposite Radhakund, where there's a devotee there who there's a little temple, and that devotee, he saw Krishna leaving from the door. He said, "Oh, but my mom made some khichdi for you." He said, "Oh, I'll take it when I come back." He said, "When you're coming back, oh, not much time, I'll be just back. Just wait." So he waited there and waited there and waited there, and it said that he left his body waiting there for Krishna. So there's a temple there to honor or whatever in his honor, so to speak. I forget the name of the temple. Huh? It doesn't sound familiar.
Yes, Putrika Lota Baba. That's what.
Yeah, very nice point. So we can see here, and this is the kind of love which is not frequently witnessed in the material world. That, one loves the other person unconditionally. There are some conditions. If I call enough, you should respond. If I call enough, you should come to me. There is that thing which I said in the beginning. If I knock enough, you must open the door. If I'm calling you within X number of rings, you should pick up. Otherwise, you don't love me. We give them a label. Between my two sons, or this son picks up the phone in one ring and this son picks up, like yesterday I was sharing Ronald Reagan. He was, the biggest problem in his life was that his son didn't pick up the phone. The President of the United States, what more can you ask in this material world? The most powerful man on earth, he is called. And his gripe in life was, when I call, my son doesn't pick up the phone. And the one time that he picked up, there was an argument that ended up happening, and he hung up. The son hung up on the president. And his whatever chief of staff was also there or something. He said, "No one hangs up on the president." Imagine this fellow, who hangs up on the president? Like literally. So there is that, thing even in relationships of father and or parent and child. Yes, there were other. Yes, Prabhuji.
I was thinking in continuation to that one. What does Krishna think when we think of getting attached to his devotee but not to him, or does Krishna feel okay about that? Because material we see it completely different. If someone loves someone else, we will think, oh, this person loves my friend, but he doesn't love me, so why should I love him back? So is that the similar with Krishna? Like, what does Krishna
say that again, please?
Like in case of Krishna, if we are thinking of getting attached to pure devotee of Krishna, so what does Krishna think? Because in material world we see if someone loves
Bhakta Bhakta Janair Priya. So yeah, it is not, doesn't work like in the material world. Krishna is very happy when one is getting attached to his devotee. I can tell you as a parent, just because these topics are very deep. I have zero understanding of these topics. I'm very theoretical, but some practical understanding I have of my own life. And therefore, becoming a parent or something, in some sense, that, kind of gives that, or even like a love between two. But as a parent, I can say this because this is kind of more, if my child calls, or, let us say, I am the father and calls the mother and conveys all the nice things. And to me, he says, "Ha, Papa, I'm okay, done. Okay, fine." But I get all the remaining stories from my wife because I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm telling you as a parent, I'm very happy. I have no gripe that, oh, why he didn't tell all those long, long stories to me. But at least he told to my wife, I got it from there. So I'm telling you practical experience that, it is very satisfying for me
Makes sense.
as a parent. So I can tell you as a parent, if that is the case, maybe, just maybe, Krishna is also like that. If I can have that kind of feeling, is it true for some parents? So everybody is saying, most of people who are
Majority of Indian parents. Majority of Indian parents.
I wouldn't put the label of Indian. If you really talk to even Western or any other, parents are parents.
I was not thinking in that thing.
Generally, we share with mommy more than daddy.
Oh, is it? Okay. We'll take that. Yes, let's move. It's getting late, so let's keep it brief.
Can I?
Yes, well, let's take Anjana Mataji's question. I didn't realize you had your hand raised, or was it raised from before? Go ahead.
So, Prabhuji, I just wanted to ask that when you said that, Krishna likes it or loves it when you love his devotees. Like, for example, Hanumanji is one of the greatest devotees of Ram. And if we love Hanumanji, that's perfectly fine. Just wanted to clarify, it's like not worshipping, but loving him, right?
That is true. Yes, that is true. In bhakti, there is worship could be a aspect of worship, or we can say archana. Literally, it is worship. Is a sadhan. Sadhya is still. Were you there in the beginning of the class?
Yes,
we talked about yeah. So it's sadhya is still Krishna prem. Whether it is archana, whether it is shravana, kirtana, they are all sadhan.
So, Prabhuji, I mean,
It should not be mechanical. Like Ambarish Maharaj, the description is given in Bhagavatam. With full love, he would do archana. He would do all the 9 processes. So even archana, he would do with great love. Yes, go ahead.
So, Prabhuji, I mean, for a new devotee, maybe I wouldn't say that I'm absolutely new, but it can be confusing because on one side we are saying that we shouldn't worship demigods. We should just worship Krishna. But I mean, it's kind of a little confusing. I'm sorry.
Okay, now I will. That's a whole different discussion about demigods versus pure devotees of Krishna. Okay, so that will take a longer time, though we have discussed it in great detail in other classes, but that I will say is a longer topic, not possible to discuss properly in few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember there are many times, but I remember in Ishopanishad's discussion, one time we did a long discussion on the position of demigods and how what sambandha we should have with we have with demigods, and what is the process or the mood with which we approach demigods. In a short nutshell, again, approaching demigods with a desire to develop love for Krishna is appropriate. Just like even the gopis had approached Mother Durga or Katyayani, it's there in Bhagavatam. And all they asked her was to get married to Krishna. And she fulfilled that desire for the gopis. So in a nutshell, that is the answer.
Okay.
And there are many more aspects, but that's probably the most number one bullet.
Okay, so with what desire we are worshipping?
With what mood or attitude we can say, or with what desire, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else? So I do see a follow-up from Sai Prabhu, I'll read it. But we do see in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Gopa Kumar intensely wanted to be with Krishna and was depressed when Krishna didn't show himself directly. Yes, it is said he was very unhappy, not in bliss. Yeah, that is, we should not equate that unhappiness Even the gopis were unhappy. Okay, but that is not an unhappiness that one should translate into giving up either the process of or the sadhan bhakti or the desire, that asakti, or the desire for the asakti. Yes, there can be disappointment. There is no problem with having a feeling of disappointment when there is a delay. But that it in one bit does not, and when we go to the stage of the advanced stages, one of these stages or one of the characteristics in the Bhava Bhakti stage. Now, I cannot say whether Gopa Kumar at this level was at the stage of Bhava Bhakti, but one of the things that develops at the stage of Bhava Bhakti is Asha Bandha. Asha Bandha means that, yes, Krishna will reciprocate. One has a strong conviction that the reciprocation will come. There is just some delay. Maybe Krishna is busy. Let him, just again like a parent. When I don't get a phone call from the child, yeah, maybe he's busy. He's, doing a lot of things. It's not like, oh, if he didn't call me, I have no doubt that has he stopped loving me? Has he adopted a different parent or anything like that? No, never. Maybe, something happened. So that is how, when there is that strong asakti developed in the heart, the delay becomes secondary. There is no doubt. We do not equate delay to a lack of or a appropriate reciprocation of love. One knows that the love is there. Just some symptoms that we are equating to that love are missing. Love means he should be with me. Love means he should pick up my call. Love means he should whatever XYZ. And if this doesn't happen, we think, oh, he's not loving me. That feeling completely disappears in the asakti stage. So I hope that answers the question. Okay, it's very late. We had nice Q&A. I should have probably gone through the material quicker. Yes, Mataji. Boli.
I have a small question about Sadhan Bhakti is a mechanism. I was thinking, if there is not a big change of that Bhakti, how one can continue that Sadhan Bhakti also? Even if it is mechanical, one cannot just continue.
In the beginning, it can be mechanical in the Shraddha and if you look at those 9 steps at this Shraddha and the Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya stage, it can be, but slowly, and after Sadhu Sangha and after we read Srimad Bhagavatam. So one of the key ingredients is Bhagavat Shravan. We showed that it was there on the slide. From there, we understand, yes, it can begin without the desire, but quickly we realize that that is something we can do. Opening the door or not is something not in our control. But to have a strong desire to develop that love for Krishna is something within our control, and we should add that ingredient as quickly as possible. Was that your question? That it can start mechanically because of whatever reason we got attracted. Maybe because, you saw your friend who was a jerk, and now after going to temple and doing this, he has become a very nice person. You say, wait, what happened? What changed this person? He says, I'm chanting Hare Krishna. Okay, I will also chant Hare Krishna. If that big change can happen in that person, maybe let me try. So one can start out of any motivation. Or maybe one doesn't have friends and you know that, oh, these people are very nice. They will accept me in their friend circle. Someone has a desire for a social circle. Or whatever, one may have desire for, nice food. Oh, free food is given here. Or nice, whatever, kirtan. People get attracted by these things. Prashadam, kirtan, social circle, nice social circle, whatever, And, but then very quickly one has to realize that, okay, either you can remain at that level. Many people come and, just socialize, eat prashadam, have nice time and leave. I don't know what is happening in their private life, in their bhakti life, but very quickly, if they really want to make progress, they should add that ingredient of the desire for asakti. Otherwise, it will stay mechanical. You will continue to have prasadam. You'll continue to have nice singing, music. And then you will say, oh, this person didn't sing well. That one is sing. Oh, today he's singing. Oh, today Bhakti-ras Mataji is cooking. Now I will go. Arey, today somebody else is cooking. Arey, wo itna acha nahi hai. Chalo, aaj skip. Today let us skip. All those feelings will come. Then you are going by material standards. Oh, today Agnidev Prabhu is singing. Arey, chalo, aaj to mast kirtan hoega. So then it becomes at a mechanical level. Anything, Prabhuji?
I just hope that this devotee feels satisfied with, because discouragement can be a serious, impediment on our path. I'm hoping this devotee is feeling satisfied with the answer for feeling discouraged.
Yeah.
Feeling discouraged is difficult to get through, but with proper association and proper sadhana and
No, he's a very sweet devotee. I know him.
changing our perspective from what I'm getting to what am I giving can help in that. Because oftentimes we feel discouraged because we're like, it's just like a material life when we have some desire and that desire is not fulfilled, we become angry or discouraged, right? So we have to change our perspective from like, I'm the enjoyer to I'm trying to serve Krishna. Even though we're chanting, we think, oh, I should be feeling symptoms of ecstasy, I should be experiencing Krishna in his holy name, but this is all, this is all up to Krishna, like the whole conversation and this whole class has been about, it's all up to Krishna. One last story I want to tell, if it's okay. This is a modern story, no from mine. One devotee was telling me, one of my good friends, he had a friend who had a near-death experience. He had actually had died and then got brought back to life. He was a devotee. When he came back to life, when he came back to consciousness, or whatever, he told the story that Srila Prabhupada had taken him to Vaikuntha while he was, clinically dead. And he was taking him there, and he said something like, "Why am I in Vaikuntha? I don't want to be in Vaikuntha. I want to go to the Loka Vrindavan." He said, I've been chanting, sincerely. He said, "Yes, but you've been doing it for yourself, not for Krishna. So you're going to Vaikuntha. Oh, you don't want to stay in Vaikuntha? Okay, you go back then." And he came back, something like that. But this is an important point.
Very important. You go ahead.
That we're not doing it for ourselves. We have to do it for Krishna's pleasure. That is enough. That is Braj. When we're doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. All of the Brajvasis, whenever they're doing seva, they're not doing it for themselves. They're doing it for Krishna. That's Braj Bhakti. And that's what Lord Chaitanya came to give us. So it's very important to make sure our consciousness is in that direction. May not be there, but at least it's in that direction while we're performing our seva.
Yeah, very true.
Trying to find the like-minded and asakti devotee. When you were mentioning the concept, when you feel discouraged, one is the focus is on you, but then one easier way is to find some devotees who have that, and then you can get it.
Finding asakti yukta sajatiya bhakta sangha is extremely potent.
And it doesn't have to be a large amount of people.
One is enough. Just one is enough. Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada told that to Jamuna and Dinatarne, when they were living here in Oregon and they were living separate from the temple. They went down to LA and talked to Srila Prabhupada and asked, "Is it okay? We're doing this here, There was no devotees here at the time." He said, "Yeah, you can be 200, and if you're not compatible, nobody will make advancement. But if you're 2 and you're compatible, you can become pure devotee."
Yeah, in fact, after a certain point, a larger number is less optimal, is suboptimal. We had discussed this in Nectar of Instruction, verse number 4. Guhyam Akhyati Prichhati. How many people we should do Guhyam Akhyati Prichhati? And Guhyam Akhyati Prichhati doesn't just mean how is your, private finances, are they doing well? And is your, family life going well? That is not Guhyam Akhyati Prichhati, means also having this asakti yukta discussions. How can, if you see somebody else, and you're welcome to go hear Hari Parshad Prabhu's lectures, Guhyam Akhyati Prichhati with a peer or with somebody senior. With somebody senior, we should have the desire to, soak in, ask the questions. It seems you have asakti. How can some of it rub off on me? So first you have to find such a person, and then you have to be desperate to make it rub off on you. And somehow or the other it will. When that deep desire is there, Krishna enables. Okay, we will stop here. It's one of our longest classes so far. So we will stop here and we will continue next time. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.